right, everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the Man-Dab-lorian, the show where we review this week's Mandalorian episode and smoke a little weed.
We are here.
Weed every day.
We are halfway through, guys, and this week we had episode 4. The title was The Siege, I believe. Hashtag Siege.
I expected to see Tom Berenger pop up because of the name, but
Not on my ship.
So, introductions. We have hailing all the way from Spokane, Washington, owner and proprietor of Access Cannabis, Mr. Wayne Fort.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me, Kyle.
No problem. Thank you for joining. As always, from the city of Colorado, the state of Colorado. Is there a city? Where you're from? Aurora, right?
Denver. No, Denver.
Oh, Denver. That's like kind of like Aurora, though, right?
Anyway, I mean, Aurora's south of me.
Yeah, that's where my family's from. Anyway, hailing from Denver, Ohio, Colorado, all the way there. We got Christopher Sturm. So, did you hear about the In-N-Out burger that opened up in Aurora?
Yes.
Weekend?
Yeah.
Dude, the line was 12 hours. They were like, we're going to be closed by the time you get your food. Why are you still here?
Yeah, my friend waited in that line for like 6 hours. 7 hours. Fuck that.
Also,
dude.
I've never had it, but
it's good. I'm not saying it's not good, but I'm not waiting 6 hours for it. Fuck that shit, dude.
We got Five Guys out here. It's just as good.
Yeah.
I understand.
That's insane.
Guys,
People are nuts.
People are nuts.
I like the way Five Guys, dude. They'll just slice up a potato and that's your fries. Oh. Better than In-N-Out, I think, personally.
All right.
I would never wait 6 hours for fast food.
I want to wait 6 hours for
Del Taco is sometimes like a 40-minute or wait in my area, but ooh.
All the fast food
I wouldn't even wait. I wouldn't even wait that long for those blue crab cakes I had last time I was in LA, dude. And they were the best I've ever had in my life. I wouldn't wait more than an hour.
What about a blue cookie? A blue space cookie?
Oh, a blue macaroon. I'm waiting all day for that.
All right, moving along. Hailing from Detroit Rock City. We got Nico Tronis.
What's happening?
Artist and marijuana aficionado. And,
Mom spaghetti lover. Just kidding.
Mom spaghetti is bomb, though.
If any of the 10 people are watching this have a Rex that they're trying to sell, please hook Nico up, because that guy needs to add Rex to his pictures. I'm surprised you haven't made one yet, honestly.
The idea is there. I mean, and it's like if I do get my hands on at least the parts, like the head, the helmet, the belt, the comma, the pew-pews, then I could take one of the new clone bodies and just like try to match the blues on the helmet and everything, and paint up one of those new clone bodies so it's all superposable and also Rex. But
it's just got to be like kind of, but like you could do all that, but you also know he's coming. So like eventually you're gonna have one.
Yeah, like I really hope so, because I know there's 2 3 3/4 inch versions of him coming, and like the one that's coming soonest rather is a review of an older one that isn't so great, and it's got kind of like a funky head and a funky helmet, but it'll have like the new photo printing. So
yeah, I'll probably get it. I'll probably get a new one, even though I have the old one.
Well, here's hoping that the 6-inch does come. But honestly, if they do a new 6-inch, that'd be amazing. Just put it on the new body, give it that right blue right out of the box. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I think them doing the 3 3/4 is the little nod that, like, don't worry, guys, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. So
that kind of makes me wonder. I finally pulled the trigger on finding a Rex, and I opened it, and now I'm kind of like, should I just left that one? Because the new one will probably be photorealistic, but the old Rex, for being as old a figure as it is
looks
amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
So
it is a good one.
Before we get started with the weed stuff, I'm going to eat half of this edible real quick.
You know, for an old figure, this guy's looking pretty good.
That's a cool old Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
All right, Chris, what are you?
Yeah,
Chris, what are you smoking today?
I am smoking something. Some wax GG number 4, and I have no clue who makes it. Oh, Craft concentrates.
Nice.
It's not that great, but money's a little tight right now, so
Hey man, it's all good.
I'm going cheap because my Bruce Lee Gomez moved from waitlist to pre-order for me, and I could be getting charged for that any minute now. So I'm just like keeping all the money I can in my account for it.
It's one of the best things about weed is that even if it's not good, it's still good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's not gonna taste good, but let me tell you, I'll be feeling pretty high after I take a dab of this shit. So I'm about it.
Nice. Yeah, this thing's such a great figure. Wayne, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking some more of that Eagle stuff, same as last week.
Dude,
This one's the sativa.
Nice.
And Nico?
Oh, you know me. I like my top shelf, so it's more THCA.
Bougie. And today I took a half a gummy. That was like, I forget what it was, 25 milligrams or something like that. I have a bad tolerance for edibles, so
Yeah,
I don't need a lot, or a low tolerance, not bad tolerance. And then I'm smoking some G Leaf. It's called Magic Johnson. It's a sativa. Like, 23%.
I know where you're going.
Pretty
with
good.
That.
Yeah.
Don't smoke too much.
It's small buds. Kind of sucks. Weed's fine. I like having like the big, nice, thick nugs, and this is like a small buds one. There's like every time I go to the flower, the shop, they're always selling like it'll say like small buds or like uncut or trimmed or like cured or sugar leaf. That's what they call it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that shit's gnar. I don't mind popcorn buds though, dude. I'll smoke the fuck out of that, but I ain't buying no sugar leaf.
All right, fellas, fire it up. All hail, praise Baby Yoda. Everybody hail, praise Baby Yoda real quick.
Yes. Don't talk
way.
to me or my son ever again.
This is the way now. This is the way. Oh, this is the way. This is the way. Oh, this is the way now. This is the way. Free child. Oh, this is the way now.
Speaking of quick plugs, you could find Christopher Sturm on Instagram at plastic.swayze. And then you can find Nico at Nico Tronus. And you can find me at Brother Kyle. Brother with an A. Brother Kyle. You can find us for all our various...
Wayne's Facebook, not
Wayne's,
Instagram.
Wayne you can find on Facebook or at his pot shop in Spokane.
Yeah.
All right. So we start off this episode with them fixing the ship with this cute, adorable Baby Yoda moment. It's very Abbott and Costello-y. And what's he said? No, take the red wire and put it where the blue wire goes. And he's just, of course, he's being a little kid, because I see it all the time when they're talking to a little kid here. They're explaining him things, and he's just like,
Okay.
I try to explain to him why the red wire goes here, and he's just like, I'm just a 50-year-old baby.
And I feel like he's starting to get a little bit smarter now, finally. Like, even holding the red and the blue wires, I feel like in the first season he could not have had Baby Yoda do that.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to me. Like, okay, dude, we're gonna see this kid fucking grow up, and it's gonna be sick, dude.
It was just adorable. It was adorable.
Yeah.
I wonder if getting way ahead of this the series. I wonder if they're ever gonna have like a jump cut between like years between seasons. So like we get it's just weird because he's 50 years old already, so he's a baby. So you'd think like the way that works, he wouldn't be a teenager, till like he's like 500 years old. But it also could be something where they just age slow as babies, and maybe they get to adolescence quicker. But I just wonder if they're gonna have like their end of season 1 year, and then maybe like jump to like a year from now or 2 years from now or something. Or
Yoda himself was a Jedi Master and training Jedi at it's either 150 or 200 years old.
Okay.
So, like,
well, and like if the show follows him, if it continues to follow him, we're not gonna be with Mando for much longer.
Exactly. Well, we don't know what race Din is, but like, of like Star Wars canon, the average life expectancy for a Mandalorian is like 120 years old. So
okay,
that's why Bo-Katan looks so goddamn good.
She does look so good. Shout out to Katie Sackhoff again. I know that was last episode, but I still just love her, and I watched that last episode like 3 more times this week. It was just fucking so good.
It is.
And I was telling Nico about this earlier, but like that, Simon Cassius or whatever, how do you pronounce his last name? Like, he like that character of Axe Woves has become like a favorite of mine now, and it's specifically because Nico made that custom.
Yeah.
Nico made that custom, and then he was so cool enough to like respond back to him and like share on the story, and I thought it's so relatable, man. Like. And then, yeah, man, it's just awesome. So like that actor and that character are like, they're like in my, they're in my heart just because they, show my boy some love, man.
Like I went back to that story so many times and just like look at it and just like I'm just like, this is fucking crazy. This is so fucking awesome.
If you have a screen cap of his story, I'll throw it up. I'll throw it up on here just so.
I really like when people do that.
Yeah,
it's so awesome.
When you tag them in something and they're like, dude, fuck yeah, like that's happened to me at skate companies.
Cara Dune,
have like
Gina
reshared some
Carano.
of my photos that I sent them.
Yeah,
Cara Dune, like one of Nico's photos.
Yeah, Gina did a few times actually.
Dude, when I did that Instagram video where I was playing I forget what song I was playing. It was a Tyler Lyle song, and I tagged him, and he fucking liked it. Like that, I was like, oh my god, Tyler Lyle actually liked my video. And like I thought it was terrible.
That was good, dude. I thought it was really good.
It's awesome to support, though.
Yeah,
like, it's such a like right to the heart, right to the soul of what you're doing. Like when you want to do something creative, that's the best feeling in the world. So
acknowledged for it, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was so happy when I did that, like that Wonder Woman picture, because that was like a throwaway picture originally, and then like there was like people, like some guy in ACPA like said that like he's like, dude, at first I thought this was like a still shot from the promo movie or something like that. I was like, oh man, that's just like
that's rad. I've made it onto Adult Swim's Snapchat and stuff with some of the Rick and Morty art.
Nice.
Done.
That's awesome. Okay, anyway, moving along. So they decide that they're gonna they can't make it to Corvus, which is a name drop from last week. Nico was I'm done with this show. Fuck you guys. I know.
I realized that I hadn't thrown on the screen while we were just talking about him. He's right there.
Yeah, boy.
And they can't hit the side of a barn door. Whatever he says. That's not a
Bantha.
Bantha.
I did it last
name
week
drop too.
So yeah, they go to Corvus. I think that there was another like adorable cute shot. I'm pretty sure that whatever you know, I imagine like Baby Yoda like having his own trailer and like he's like a real person. He's like in his contract he has to like, you have to show me at least sipping broth once, because it's just so cute when he's just sitting there and he's like, meh.
Just drinking, dude. Yeah.
And then they show Mando popping up his helmet a bit and sipping some broth. I don't remember seeing him eating or consuming anything.
Never.
The whole series. I wanted to ask that.
I marked that as a talking point because that he hasn't done that.
Yeah,
and it's making me think that he's noticing other Mandalorians aren't as rigid with that. As he initially thought, and he's like starting to come to grips and lifting it. You even saw Baby Yoda's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Looking up, like, damn, what's this fool look like? You know?
I saw your chin.
But so I feel like he's starting to accept that, and that's really cool to see him grow, I think.
For sure.
So yeah, they decide to go back to Navarro, and everyone's excited because we all know. By the way, Carl Weathers directed this episode. We all knew that Grief Karga and Cara Dune were going to be in it, probably just because of that. Once again, I love how they're not doing like a next week on Mando thing, but
me too, man. I'm about it.
If we all knew that this was happening, we all knew Carl Weathers was directing it, so we kind of figured this was going on. So yeah, he's gonna stop back, try and get some repairs on the ship, and then head out to Corvus. So we get, and the next scene is this awesome, like I don't know what species they were, but they were just, you know, a bunch of like black market or like, you know, hooligans or pirates or whatever, and it looked like they were gonna cut up what I thought was the most adorable space parrot that I've ever seen. I love them. I want one. I want a space parrot.
They definitely like the walrus guy in New Hope.
Yeah, that's where like the spider aliens.
Where he's like, guys. Robot chicken. He's like, my friend doesn't like you. I didn't say that. Yeah, one of those guys.
So yeah, and then lo and behold, motherfucking Cara Dune pops in and just wipes the floor with all those guys. He does all the wrestling and UFC moves.
Yeah, and that was all her, guaranteed too, doing that, which is like, dude.
She's awesome. I love her. I know like people were bitching about her like recently because she posted some stupid like knucklehead fucking voter like Trump shit or whatever. But like turns out I don't care.
She's fucking awesome. Gina Carano is amazing. And I love her. And if anybody has a problem with her, I will fight her. You don't have to worry about fighting you. I will fight you.
I think she's got it covered.
She does. True.
Yeah. So we get a nice, an awesome feel-good moment with a nice warm reunion with Grief Karga, Cara Dune, and Mando. And I'll tell you right now, I wish I had an Uncle Karga.
Dude, I'm telling you, like I wrote down in my book here, I love him. He's like acting like a proud grandpa. You know, just like
it was so awesome.
Dude, loved it. I loved that. I'm just like, yeah, dude.
He was doing all like the tropes, like with the kid. He's like, oh, hello there. Oh, he said hello, and he's just holding, come here. It was very adorable.
Yeah, that was so great.
Then so he tells Mando we'll get his ship repaired, and clearly that fucking person is a bad guy. Like again, like they did.
Oh yeah, you could tell the dude looks back and it's like, what's this guy again? Okay. Like,
yeah.
Come on, guy.
Obviously,
that's gonna come back.
In the score, there was actually like a rattlesnake hissing sound when he like looked back and all of that on screen. So like,
I wrote down Shysta alien.
So when you guys notice that they're walking over to the whatever it was, the bar from wherever he was at before, the bar or whatever, and so they kind of had this interesting conversation about it gives you a little insight on their feelings toward the New Republic, like the outer rim feelings. Oh shit, I got the hiccups.
Started over.
So they it's because we know after Death Star 2, Electric Boogaloo was torn down, the New Republic started. But like we know that eventually shit's gonna happen where they don't have it, the first. What the fuck, man? This is annoying. fucking hiccups. The First Order is going to come, eventually. So what we're seeing right now is kind of like the common people's feelings toward the New Republic, and it doesn't seem like it's all that great, to be honest. It's just, basically like anybody, like small town would think, big government or something like that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool, Empire, New Republic, who gives a shit? Someone's fucking with us, that type of attitude.
I think it's really a big part of it is too that there's literally no structure. Like most of the people are used to living under the boot of the Empire. So, a lot of them are just kind of stuck in that mentality. They're like, well, these stormtroopers used to fucking bully us and push us down the street, and now they're all dead, piled up in the center of the town square that, we torched them all, and there's just a big old melted pile of armor and bone. Like, what's the New Republic going to do for me? Like,
yeah, because I still got to get up and go to work in the morning, like, it doesn't
exactly. I think that's a huge part of it. And it really kind of bummed me out, like, not to jump at, well, I'd be jumping ahead. But,
yeah, all right. You're probably talking about the pilot later. Yeah, we'll come back to that. Because, so it's just interesting. Did you guys notice in the background when they were walking to the school, you saw the statue in the background?
Yep.
Of IG?
I didn't see that, yeah. I didn't actually notice that. So it's like a statue of an IG unit?
It's a statue of IG-11.
Yeah.
Right side of the school.
I mean, nobody says it is, but like,
Navarro,
what else could it be? Yeah.
Yeah, duh, because that took place on Navarro. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to this figure. It's so fucking awesome. It's so tall. And it's just so much better than that shitty Black Series one.
God, I know, dude. I'm jealous.
Yeah, you guys should get it. Anyway, so it's cool. They go into the school, and the school's they got a protocol droid in there teaching, and it just looks awesome. It's you come to find out Grief Karg has been like kind of like running this planet now, and he's like making everything better, and Cara Dune is the marshal, she's the law, she's cleaning up the streets. They got a fucking school like established now. I don't know if the protocol droid did a whole bunch of like system name drops, which kind of cool. So like if you know about Star Wars, like you recognize some of these names. They said the Carillion Run, the Hydian Way. They were talking about the Rims. They were talking about the Old Republic's capital on Coruscant and the New Republic's capital on Chandrila. Yeah. Arcadius Maelstrom. I don't know. I can't read my handwriting. And then she mentioned the Kessel system, which was cool.
Dude, and you know what, man? Like, they're gonna make Baby Yoda pop sitting in that desk, dude, and I'll be buying that shit.
So
that was when my girlfriend looked over and said that to me. I'm like, dude, yeah, I would buy that.
We get some overprotective daddy moments from Mando when they go to put him down in the seat, and he goes, "No, wherever he goes, I go." And they're like, "Guy, calm down, man. Like, just slow your roll, Mando."
He lingers after the
Yeah, it's very, very funny. And then we get what'll be go down this week as probably like all the good stuff that happened. This will probably be the most talked about scene. And this dude's eating blue Girl Scout macaroons next to Baby Yoda, and he uses his force powers to get him cookies. And it was just cute as shit.
Finally, the Force being used for good in Star Wars.
So I know Wayne was talking before about like how he wasn't using the Force powers, which was kind of a good thing. And it was just funny to see him finally use it. And then it was just to steal some blue space cookies.
Yeah. And that kid, dude, when he said no, I'm like, hell no. I'm like, fucking kill this kid, dude.
Yeah, for real. Give those cookies to Baby Yoda, you fucking bully.
So then we get the return of an awesome character from the first episode, Mithril, played by Horatio Sands. Is that his name? Yeah. So yeah, he's apparently working off his debt to Grief Karga for the next 350 years, and Grief Karga kind of throughout the whole episode treats him like a dick.
Yeah.
Dude, I kept getting the vibe. I'm like, this guy's gonna fuck him over, man.
I
I was kind of shocked.
To try to like.
I love the opening scene when they walk in and the Mithril like has that expulsion around his neck when he sees Mandalorian.
So if you guys notice, he's talking to like authority on the phone or the comm or whatever. He's saying, like, it sounds like he's talking about Mando, like when he's saying like I guess they were talking about a ship, and he was like, yeah, I don't know like who it is, we didn't know anybody was coming, but I think it's, and then they walk in and he just like, yeah, that's when he like shits himself.
Yeah.
So it already sounds like he was ready to turn his ass in.
Yeah, that was funny. He's like, I'm surprised to see you here.
Awesome
Me
character.
too.
Very funny. This guy has, you know, he's a funny dude. He plays the character well.
Yeah, he was. I think like he called into the New Republic. I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we ended up seeing. Do you guys remember the pilot's name?
Carson. It's Carson something.
Something. I can't remember. I don't remember, but I recognize the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping we were going to see Filoni on camera again too, but
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I typed in Carson. It came up Carson Wentz, garbage quarterback.
Oh, dude.
So yeah. So they're Grief and Kara ask him to help him. There's one remnant of this, what they think is like a Imperial base left on Navarro, and they're this close to having this whole entire thing cleaned up. Grief Karga has aspirations of being a trading spot throughout the galaxy. What do you call it, an anchor point or something? Trading anchor.
Something. Yeah.
Also, Kara is afraid that black market's going to get their hands on all these Imperial weapons that are in there. So they decide to go man it up, and I imagine them, they're sitting around these plans, right? And then the guy goes, hey, let's do the Death Star maneuver, because their plan is basically the plan to kill the 2 Death Stars. They're just gonna, blow up the reactor, basically find that center point and just.
Yeah, I mean, why do they always build it? Oh, I mean, we know why, but it's like, dude, you would think. Okay, dude, let's like change something here.
Did you guys ever see the Star Wars? You guys have seen the Star Wars Family Guy thing, right? Like the old ones, like when they do those first 3 Star Wars. So they had that skit where the guy's like finished the Death Star, and he's like, it's perfect. Well, except for like there's this one little hole where if you put like a torpedo through there, it'll explode the whole thing. But it's only the size of a womp rat. It's no big deal. So yeah, so they're gonna go blow up the space and make Navarro a safe place for all the free people to live. And they hop in Mithral's ride, which is that speeder, which I think Chris was pointing out that it was like a older version of Luke's or something like that. Or
yeah, it looks retooled. I even wrote in my book here. I was like, oh, they'll probably make that as a Black Series as I was watching it first.
I would love a speeder. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Actually, and it could even be like the reused speeder from the very first episode with when he caught the Mithril.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Brian Posehn.
Yeah, it could have been his speeder or the other one that the droid was driving.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
so yeah, they get there and they make a point. They made some of this too, like in Rebels when they were talking about like the Imperial, like because like when Rex was talking about their armor, he's like, this is trash. This armor is nothing like clone armor. It's so terrible. And so they were talking about the base, and she said like, this thing wasn't rated for lava because the locks won't work. And then Kara's like, Imperial trash. And it's just like they do make it a point a lot to make that they're working with shit tech. They don't outfit the stormtroopers with great armor. Probably the higher ups one do, but
the Empire's cutting corners.
Yeah, they're they're hiring shitty subcontractors
if that place was built after the fall of the Empire too, they probably had to work with very little. To get that up and going.
Yeah,
it doesn't look to me like they built it at all. It looks like like a ship that they, blasted out some rock and just kind of like tucked it into the shelf and then built all the, entry points into it,
I watched a thing where they were mentioning that this base actually looks a lot like another base from that video game that the actual was the same video game that the we'll get to this later, but the Dark Troopers were pulled from. So apparently in this video game, there's also a base that's very similar to that base. I'm not sure what it was called, but yeah. So Mando jetpacks up and just goes, here, hold my beer, and they can't get in. So they, all of a sudden the stormtrooper just drops, the door opens, they go in, and you just see Mando just fucking posing there with stormtroopers spread about the room. And I love how they do this a lot in the show is they're able to make, they give you awesome action. But they also give you scenes where they just use, the feel of the scene to make Mando look like a complete badass without him ever shooting or throwing a punch or no effects or no fight or nothing. Just like the whole thing, just him just it's like, oh man, this dude just fucked up this entire room. I didn't even care that I didn't get to see.
Yeah, he just pops up there and surprised them all. They're probably like, "Holy shit, what the fuck?"
So Mithril comes across this. He mentions that this thing, I forget exactly what he called it, but it was the thing that carted all the troops in the last episode of the first season. That Moff Gideon brought all the troops in, and he's like, we could sell this on the black, make a lot of money for this. And they also make it a point of letting you know that these people aren't looking like Carl Weathers was shady in the first season, but like that would have been, I think, from the first season, something I think he would have been down for. But now he's totally against it. He doesn't want to like sell this thing to make a profit. He just wants it off the world. He wants to melt it down,
Yeah, he's got a second chance at life thanks to Baby Yoda. Yeah. So he's like, I'm fucking making some changes. Yeah.
Exactly. So they get to this. They get to the reactor, and they're it's basically a redo of the Obi-Wan scene where he's from the New Hope, where there's no guardrail on the thing, and and again, he's just treating Mithril like a dick. It makes him do it. I thought there was a lot in this episode that was reminiscent of A New Hope. Like a lot of the things, it reminded me of them rescuing Leia from the New Hope.
The bridge scene, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very nostalgic feeling. So they they do this. They overload the reactor, and they got like 10 minutes or whatever to get out. So they come across did they start fighting stormtroopers right away, or did they come across the lab first? I forget. I think they ran into some on the way back.
They ran into a couple. They avoided them, and then they went into the lab and shot those people. And then
they killed those guys that were also wearing the Camino cloning facility stuff.
Yes, they were. I noticed one thing on these pictures when I was looking at some research or whatever, and the logo was exactly the same except for one little thing. There was like a line under one of the marks, but it was other than that, it was the same exact logo.
Yeah, so like those guys were probably like junior assistants versus Dr. Pershing, who thanks to Myth, after Luke and Greef and Kara killed those two little twat waffles after they were shooting the computer desk up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We get to that video of Pershing talking about needing more samples of Baby Yo-Yo's blood.
So they they show you these tanks too right before that, and these tanks if you look at I saw some close-ups of the tanks, and they basically look a lot like Snoke. And when they zoom into the tank, they play Snoke's theme song, which was they're slapping you. If they're not hiding that, then they're slapping you in the face with that. This is Snoke.
Or the scar especially.
That's what they were trying to do. Yeah, the scar too. Yeah.
But they're also making it a point to spell it out that like Palpatine as he existed in Episode 9 was something that was a process. So there's a clone body that he currently inhabits.
Yeah.
it's a piece of shit and it's decomposing. So he has to be moved to another body. And apparently that's something of a cycle and something that happens. So
Yeah.
that leads me to believe that that's what Baby Yoda's blood is for. That's why Gideon wants it, is because it's directly involved with Palpatine.
Yeah. So we know, watching from the outside. Oh, God.
Oh, I was just saying yes.
It's like fucking boom arrow. Yep. So yeah, we know that eventually, past this timeline, Palpatine is still alive because he shows up in the new trilogy. So, like, yeah, it seems like it makes sense that they're doing cloning stuff. He specifically says in the Rise of Skywalker, he's talking about clones or whatever. It's they show tanks there too.
Yeah.
And
He says he tells him he made Snoke.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, dude, he's like, I killed him. He's like, okay.
Yeah. Snoke actually was a failed Palpatine clone. Like, there were many failed Palpatine clones before they got to like the Snoke that Palpatine basically controlled. He basically lived through that body, just kind of like forced telepathically.
Yeah. It's in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. It showed ever since Ben was a fucking kid, he's been hearing Snoke in his head talking to him. He grew up like being constantly pulled.
Yeah.
And finally was just like, fuck it, dude. You know, obviously we know the story, but yeah, that was cool to find out. I was like, damn, dude, like he's been facing this shit his entire life and he never got away from it. Like,
yeah, I have those books. It's nice. Yeah, they're kind of decent.
Yeah, it was a cool read. Little 4-issue cool read.
The Marvel Star Wars books are surprisingly really good.
Yeah, I've started reading some of the Vader stuff, and I like it. But
Vader is so good.
Yeah, I heard actually Mace Windu started showing up in the more recent, like, Vader in 2020, like in the Vader comics.
Damn, nice.
But it's not like Mace, but I mean,
it's not.
Yeah, like you're made to think it's the same.
Oh, okay.
They kind of did something similar with Padme.
I remember that with the Padme one. I saw that. I was like, dude, because they were the first couple of those.
Yeah,
when it launched.
Those are great stories though, because it was really well done, and that ended up being one of Padme's handmaidens.
Mm-hmm.
And like Vader flipped the fuck out because he's like,
PTSD.
Is she all right?
They that VR, we're getting a little off topic here, but that VR Star Wars game, that was kind of like the point of that Vader Immortal. He was trying to use this like relic on Mustafar to like resurrect Padme or some shit.
That's
like
pretty
that.
dope.
Yeah.
That sounds tight.
It was a really good. They had a really good original story in the game. I keep dropping this fucking
a really great story in the Vader book about a Sith called Lord Momin, and he still possesses consciousness within the mask that he used to wear.
Oh, wow.
Palpatine gives the mask to Vader to take to Mustafar to build his castle, because Lord Momin was one of the greatest architects of all the Sith that ever lived.
Oh, damn. That's tight, dude. I'm going to have to give the rest of that book a read, man.
It's so good. I highly recommend it. Like,
I have them all downloaded, Chris, if you want me to share them.
Hook me up, man. Yeah.
Honestly, you guys can, like, there's just a website. It's called just like getcomics.com or whatever, and you can just basically download any fucking comic in the world for free.
You can read them too. I don't really like using it on a mobile though. I'll use that on a laptop, but not mobile. Yeah. It sucks.
I hear that.
Anyway, so yeah, we get Dr. Parrish comes back, and we talked about this before, but I love how they said M count. They were like, the child's M count was off. Like,
It's like they're trying to like.
I felt like it was
okay.
like a half wink, but also like a half fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're kind of right. You're also kind of wrong, but you're also kind of right because that's the thing about it. They didn't want to like dick slap you with like Jar Jar Binks popping up on the screen and saying, "Hi, boys, me some Jar Jar Binks. How say you, sir?" Like they didn't want people to be jumping directly back to the prequels and thinking, fuck, midi-chlorians? You mean the thing where you guys try to scientifically make the Force something and like
Yeah.
kind of ruin all the mystery behind it? No thanks. Because that's kind of how a lot of
I
people...
noticed that though with the M count thing. That was funny.
Yeah, but that's totally what it is. The midi-chlorian count, Baby Yoda's bloods.
So I personally didn't have a problem with the midi-chlorian. Like it was a non-issue for me. Like I didn't think it was stupid or good. I couldn't care less about but I get why people think it was dumb. But I actually, I like the fact. I kind of think it was trying to tie, maybe not in this count, but like trying to tie like science to like this whole mystery thing, like and realizing that it's not one or the other. It's like maybe like a mixture of both. It's kind of cool, but they never really expanded on it to make it cool or anything. So
yeah, they kind of gave it up on that.
The other thing about it too is like with all of us, with all of our knowledge of Star Wars, between the Clone Wars, between the movies, between Rebels, we know and understand stuff like M count.
Yeah.
All of us get that right away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fuck ton of the audience of people that are watching this that don't know what the hell an M count is. They don't know what that means. They didn't know who Bo-Katan was. Yep. They don't know why she wants the Darksaber. They haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels. They don't know those things. So that's kind of the really cool thing, because like they're giving that to us to be like,
yeah.
Hey,
and people,
yep.
And not only that, the people that don't know they still love it. They're like, I'm fucking down, dude.
Of course.
It's like, I'm not the best with Clone Wars. I didn't watch it all. Like I never watched it all in its entirety, but I mean, I know who that character was beforehand because I'd seen the episodes with Darth Maul. I definitely watched Darth Maul episodes, so I knew who she was. But yeah,
what's the beauty of Clone Wars is that you don't have to watch every. If somebody told you, hey, here, they should make like a list of like essential Clone Wars, because you could basically watch like a couple episode story arcs throughout the Clone Wars and just be well aware of all this. Like you said, Chris, like if you just watch like the Maul arc,
Cliff Notes,
basically it's like you pick up a favorite. I think Rebels should be watching its entirety. I think Clone Wars should be too, but you could get away with Clone Wars. Rebels is only 3 seasons though, but
yeah, I would say in Clone Wars there was that whole siege of the underwater planet that you don't need to see, any of that with the prince and the
not that arc wasn't bad. Like that was a good story, but
that specific arc is actually comes into play now, because you see on this new planet the Mon Calamari and the
Quarrens, they're like living together. And shit.
That's what it's called, Mm-hmm. But I mean, as far as being essential information, you're right. Like a list of episodes that kind of are like, if you want to catch the key topics that tie. Well, especially the things that tie Clone Wars and Rebels together, like when Anakin meets the father and the daughter and the son. Like that would be obviously really essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That comes up again in Rebels.
So to roll back to what Nika was saying, but there is a lot of people that are watching The Mandalorian because it's a great show and not because they love Star Wars. And that's a really positive thing, because then those people might now be interested in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And then go back and say, oh, wow. Like, this is a really awesome show. What's this about? And then like, and then, his nerd friend is going, oh, bro, I got some stuff for you to watch. Like, and I'm kind of like my roommate. He knows a lot about Star Wars, but he doesn't like to watch like the cartoons and stuff. So he doesn't know Clone Wars and Rebels. He knows like basically everything except that. But he also loves to go to some of these like YouTube like things and watch like Easter egg videos, and he's basically like research. Every time he watches an episode, he like researches. So like now he knows about Bo-Katan. He knows about like the shit that happened in Rebels because he's going to watch these videos that are not only recapping it but also telling you what's happening from other seasons or other medium.
Yeah,
so I just think it's really awesome. I think it's a really awesome like time to be a Star Wars fan right now.
Totally.
Even this is.
Well, I think
mean,
the dynamic of the Darksaber especially is really fascinating because it goes back, literally, hundreds of years back to the first. Well, is it even thousands of years, Nico? When was
this point
the time of Vizsla, Pre Vizsla, was that his name?
Pre Vizsla, yep.
Yeah, the Darksaber is definitely one of those things that's awesome. Like because my roommate, he knows about the Darksaber. He knows all about it. And you didn't have to watch Star Wars.
Is if we're gonna see, well, I'm wondering if they're gonna show up on Corvus next week. If Moff and his Star Destroyer or whatever that ship is, and those Dark Troopers. Ooh.
Square up against Ahsoka. Ooh, man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they said they don't have long to use them, right? They break down after so long. So
so that's what I was going to get to
look to unleash them at full power.
Well, those.
Oh yeah, we haven't escaped the facility yet, right?
Yeah, we just went on like a 20-minute tangent, but about how amazing Star Wars is, which is awesome. I'm not going to edit any of that out. I think this episode's actually really well.
The Dark Troopers are actually droids. So
yeah.
There's no like actual organic matter there, but they just resemble stormtroopers, and they're almost kind of like the B2 battle droids, like the big pump.
Nice, yeah.
So
I always like those.
Like
going back to
see him and freeze, like think he's like a little kid again, and he's being attacked by fucking battle droids.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that would be shit, man. I think
that's a good point. Actually, yeah, I didn't think about that either. That's obviously why he hates droids.
Yeah. Thinking like, what if we see all 20 of those things like unleashed on them to try to capture them, and like he freezes right away and goes into like an immediate kind of like shock type of deal and starts like having flashbacks to being a little kid again, and then Bo-Katan and Axe and Casca show up and are all pew 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 pew. We don't have enough pew pews. Let's get out of here.
It makes me think that would be like so amazing. I'm so excited for next week.
Totally.
So anyway, going back to the episode, we find out all this stuff, and we just talked about it for a half hour. So then they realize this isn't like an Imperial base, a call center. It's a lab, and these people are doing these fucked up experiments, so we have to destroy it. He realizes that transmission was made 3 days ago, which means Moff Gideon is still alive.
And he's like, dude, I gotta go get the kid.
Immediately panics. Yeah, I gotta get in there. They say, jetpack the fuck back. And then we get some really, really amazing directing and scene work where they have like a couple minutes of Mando going through the base, doing his thing, and Cara and Greef and Mythrol all do it. And they'll show like a couple seconds of them running through a room, go pew, 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 pew. And then they switch over to Mando, and he's pew, 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 and all. But they did one of the coolest scenes in the whole show, or the whole episode, was when he was in the lava pit thing. He's jetpacked up, and then they showed the troopers like coming at the top of the lava, and he just shoots up, and just you don't even see him shoot. You just hear pew pew as he's going right past them, and they fall. And then he does his fucking superhero landing right in the thing. And then he gets hit from behind, and he just turns around and goes.
And that's one thing I noticed. These stormtroopers were actually hitting him. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, he was standing still, but then as soon as he started moving, he's flying up the shaft. They can't hit shit.
Yeah.
So once he starts moving, it's back to normal. But I did make a note of that. Stormtroopers hitting things.
Yeah, like that kind of caught me off guard because I was like, Mando's getting hit by stormtroopers a lot lately.
Yeah, maybe they can hit the side of the Bantha door.
Only stormtroopers are so precise.
I said that's actually a pretty good impression.
That was, yeah.
Hello there. So we get that just an example of amazing action, and then kind of after that, it becomes the fucking Cara Grief show. For the next like 6 minutes, it's basically just them, and then
Yeah, he
again,
fucking darts off that edge, dude, and just bounces.
Mhm.
And I like that how it like he takes off and then it's boom back to them and constantly stays with them.
and then we once again get and just another back-to-back like an incredible action scene, because that scene with them taking off in that, what was it called, like a Trexler class or something like that, the basically the cargo ship or whatever, she steals it, she just fucking flies off the cliff and it lands on asshole Speeder. Oh, he's taking a break.
I mean, should we
Guys, yeah, go for it. Let's do it. We're almost at the end anyway.
well.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought during the Carl Weathers escape, like that he was shooting at the cliffs kind of like on purpose to try to, hit debris down on the TIE fighters, but it just turns out he was a terrible shot.
Dude, I mean, I'll kind of wait till we get back going again, but those speeder bikes popping off the edge of that, dude, I was just like,
we're back on right
this
now.
is sick, dude. It felt like watching them ride BMX, going off road and stuff, dude. It was really tight. I liked that shit a lot.
It was an amazing.
But you could definitely.
Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, it definitely had the video game escalation kind of feel to it. Like, first you got to escape, and then it's wave 1 speeder bikes, and wave 2, like.
Dude,
wave 3 TIE fighters.
It was like that movie Rad when they were fucking riding them speeder bikes. They jumped the speeder bikes off the side of that too and rode down the mountain.
Yeah,
that was just
a rad
sick,
reference,
dude.
Holy
I looked over at Caitlin. I was like, I'm so glad I got 2 of those.
I know. I was thinking the same fucking thing. I was like, man, I wish I would have got 2 of those.
They're still up.
I only got the 1. I know.
You know what I did get?
Another one.
I got a Razor Crest.
I'm so happy about that.
But bro, those speeder bikes are still up.
Yeah, I should change
are
mine
they?
too.
Maybe
Yeah,
I should. Maybe I
there's
should
probably
one.
left for a while, I think.
Anyway, back to the fucking Star Wars. So yeah, this scene was just so amazing with the whole speeder bike thing. I loved how it just looks so badass. We talked about this before. The guy that does the music, he did an amazing job.
Yeah.
With the music, bro, how it changed from when the speeder bikes came out and they climbed up that cliff. And I love how they just showed how dumb the troopers were. So 2 of them just crashed into each other.
Dude, I know, that was so great. I just love everything about that part.
Yeah, it was overall really good. And again, like I said, this reminded me of like a lot of New Hope stuff. That the whole scene reminded me of them trying to escape with the Millennium Falcon and Luke getting behind, or whoever got behind the guns. And, somebody was driving, somebody was shooting.
Yeah.
It just had a nostalgic feel to it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, like seeing Grief line up that biker scout on the roof like that.
Dude, I know. He turns. He's like, "Oh shit!" He's all laughing.
Obliterated. He got messed up.
Yeah, that was a nice touch when they speed off in the helmet, spinning on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, One thing I was wondering, because and then right after that, like you said, they switched to the TIE fighters, and that was awesome too. Just hearing the klaxon again, like, wah, wah.
Dude.
You know, the wings going up, and
when the look on Cara Dune's face when she heard there were TIE fighters too was like she was having flashbacks. She's like, oh fuck, because those are OP, dude. So like, yeah, so great. I love that noise.
Yeah, realistically, there's probably no way that a fucking troop transport like that takes down, 4 TIE fighters. But thankfully, there was Mando and the Razor Crest.
And thankfully, his ship isn't just some beater like everyone thinks it is, because it's pre-Empire and it's actually built because, yeah, dude, those TIE fighters, they're OP, man, just like X-Wings. Like you saw what the X-Wings did to his.
Yeah.
And they never fired a shot.
They
just trying to get away from him,
Yes.
So I kind of had a thing with this whole thing because this was one of the coolest Star Wars just does them dog fights, man. Whoever they have doing that shit is so good at them.
My God, dude, loved. That was probably my favorite part, I think, of the entire episode, and that's
when he went
like, because every part was my favorite, but
and turned his engines off and then flipped around and then spun him back in, and they were going at each other, and he was spinning like this, and they showed it on the screen, and then he just blasted him away, and they changed the music to the end part of the theme to like it was.
And Baby Yoda, dude, just like he's in like so much danger, and he doesn't even give a fuck, dude. He's just having so much fun, bro. Like,
and then
the contrast of that and the dogfight was like gold, dude. And
another
just
adorable moment with him puking afterwards.
Yeah, and then using his cape, dude, to fucking clean it. Yeah.
And so there's a whole thing with this, and because of how amazing that scene was, my mind is willing to not think of. Seems a little unlikely that they got that ship 100% fixed in about who knows, a few hours. It seemed like. True. They basically like just download. It was like a video game. They just downloaded an update on the ship, because that thing came back pretty good looking, and it was fucking up TIE fighters.
Dude, and when he landed, it had like pieces of wood, like from ships or whatever. Like,
well, it dropped in the ocean. It dropped in the fucking salt water. Wayne, you were talking about earlier about how living near the sea fucked up your cars and shit like that. And he dropped his whole ship in the sea.
Yeah, no, it was rough. But maybe they just had, I don't know, either really good mechanics or what. But it was good to see that they are going to continue forward with it. I kind of had a fear that they were going to do the whole, the Optimus Prime phenomenon. Let's release the greatest ship ever on HasLab and then sell it to everybody, and then we'll smash the ship and then get them a new one that's even cooler.
Yeah.
And then do that on HasLab and sell it to the nerds
right?
again.
That would have been fucked. I just like, I get it, dude. That ship is supposed to be like a beater, and everyone thinks it is. Yeah. But I love the way it looks, dude. I love it. I hope he stays in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to, and I'm glad, because obviously it's fucking fixed now.
Yeah.
But you're right about how wrecked it was. Remember, the tailgate wouldn't even drop down. Like, it just stalled.
Well, and
the way Chewbacca looked at it when they first got out of it, like, oh.
It's like watching the Griswolds finally pull up at Wally World. Like, fucking.
That, and then that's basically it. For the episode, he doesn't go back down. Like, I thought they were gonna like hang again, but he's just like, I gotta bounce. Moff knows where we're at, so it's better.
I liked how Grief was like, "Hey, let me at least buy you a drink," and we saw him take a drink earlier, and he's like, "Nah, I'm cool." Like, so it's like only in front of Baby Yoda so far that he's like getting comfortable, even like showing his chin. That kind of it's cool. It's showing their bond, and
yeah, it's really cool.
So yeah, then they show, like you said, that pilot coming from the New Republic. I thought it was Carson. I could have been wrong. Was it
Carson?
Yeah, he was the other pilot from the previous episode. He starts talking about how like the New Republic doesn't see all this shit, but like some of us that are patrolling these like outer rims, like we're starting to notice that all these incidents aren't isolated. Like it doesn't feel like they're isolated. It seems like something weird is going on in the outer areas, outside the core planets.
Yeah.
And
why wouldn't you patrol those too? I don't even.
He asked Kara if he wants to join him, and she kind of gives him she's like, "I'm not a joiner, Blue." Kind of a fuck off thing, and then he starts because Kara's like she's an old soldier from what the rebellion and shit, right? She was like a paratrooper or something.
Yeah.
Rebel shock trooper.
Yeah, but she's from Alderaan. So this guy, he's talking. He's like, from Alderaan. I served during the Alderaan. Like, I served on Alderaan, basically saying. It's a very heartwarming scene. He says, who did you lose anybody? And like, this guy, he has to know that of course.
Yeah,
like,
the whole planet, dude. Like,
I guess what he meant was like, was your family on world or were they off world, like that kind of thing. She says, I lost everyone, and then he drops a rebel like medal. Did you know what that was, Nico? Exactly what that was.
I didn't even look it up, but I know there's some kind of significance behind it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Marshall and badge type thing. Like he's like, let people know, like you're.
Yeah.
I thought it was like one of those handheld holocron things, so she could call him if she sees anything.
I never thought of that, dude.
Really good idea.
That might actually be it. That's kind of less cooler, but
yeah.
Well, in all the cop dramas and stuff, how it's always like, if you see anything, call me, and he hands out the card.
I didn't even think about that, man. Yeah, that could have been a com link or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Good thinking.
I like it. I like to think that it's a badge. That'd be really cool. But man, that's probably what it is, though, is some kind of sort of communicator.
So what I was thinking was that I thought that it was kind of like an award or like a badge that he had that maybe he was awarded, and I thought that he was giving it to her. That's the kind of impression I got. Like he maybe did. It was like he had a Purple Heart or some shit like that, and he thought that she should have one too. So he gave her. He gave
all three of those sound good, like good scenarios.
It was cool, man.
Definitely looked badge-ish. Like it definitely was some sort of significant, something we're gonna see again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It was a really cool scene, man. It's kind of sad, because you forget that her family was all from Alderaan, and you know what happened to Alderaan.
Blowed up.
Got blown up.
And like being
pretty
away
bad
from war and not wanting to sign back up, that kind of.
It was the worst case of a planet exploding I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. There's no putting that back together.
Yeah. So then,
fucking core gift the foundation is still there.
So then we get the stinger of the episode.
The foundation is totally gone. Mate.
So then they go to you start seeing this hologram of the mechanic, and you see like in an Empire set, whatever it is, pre-First Order. Somebody pointed out that the uniforms they were wearing kind of looked like a mashup between the First Order and the Imperial uniforms. Like it was kind of like a transition to the First Order, which is like symbolic.
I'm kind of liking the fact that he's still fighting Imperial stormtroopers and stuff like that. I feel like I will like it less if I start seeing First Order shit.
Yes.
I agree.
Eventually, it'll come down to it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it's gonna rise, but what?
Well, maybe not if all the talk of the world between worlds stuff is true.
They gotta tease at it and give us give it a point where if they're gonna do some sort of a time loop thing where it actually severs and where it happens, it'll have to be some plot to stop Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the Mando will be there. Maybe that would be cool because Ahsoka would have to be there. Mando could be there. Baby Yoda could be there. I always assumed that if they were going to change time, that Baby Yoda had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Dude, I never thought about that. Fuck.
I'm very interested in how they're going to pull some of this like mystic kind of shit that they had in Clone Wars and Rebels. Like there was a lot of that weird, like you said, like World Between Worlds and this mother, father, daughter thing, and a lot of all stuff that they tied into the Force. Now, Mandalorian.
And Mother Townsend. Oh, I'm sorry. Mother Townsend didn't use the Force. She used mysticism specifically. Like,
no, she actually did use the Force. Like that. She was a witch, but that Force, that magic that she used was actually a part of the Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like
All right,
the Force connects all things, so it's like everything is the Force.
It's why she's associated with Palpatine, and there were all those arcs with the Night Sisters, and how they would use that magic, and it was always like appearing in like green effects and shit.
So my overall point was that up until now we've seen Baby Yoda use the Force a little bit, but they haven't really brought. It's still mostly like a spacey science fiction show. They haven't really had anything like super mystical or weird like that. Besides just him using the Force to like get fucking cookies.
This next episode should be the one, and we'll see a bunch of it because it's called The Jedi and it's 58 minutes long.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I'm ready.
I'm excited about it.
And it's gonna come quick too. I got a 3-day week this week at work.
I'm gonna try and stay up Thursday night and watch it.
I think I'm.
The episode did seem a little short. Like it was a lot of information.
Very short.
It was longer, but it was like it was just so good that it went by. So it was like so much.
I was saying before when they got to the end, which we'll talk about real quick with Grief and whatever they are, Dark Soldiers or Shadow Troopers or whatever. They got to that, and I noticed that there was like 7 minutes left in the episode, and I was like, oh, they're gonna show like more after this. And then they went to fucking 6 minutes of artwork and credits. Fuck. I was like, oh man, there was supposed to be you could have got 3 more minutes of this shit.
Dude, I love the fucking artwork and the credits. So, dude,
it is awesome, but I would have loved to have a teaser. But whatever, it's something to look forward to next week so much.
Yeah, this shit's gonna change so much in what we're 5 days away.
Yeah.
Dude, I know, like some serious like seeds, man. I'm like, fuck, dude, how is like,
so
because we know Snoke gets made, like, so what does that mean for Baby Yoda going forward? Like, dude, I swear to God, man, no fucking.
Yeah, it's
better not hurt my boy.
It's definitely gonna be interesting. So before we get off, we like talk about like the very last thing that happened was that they showed this like, they panned out of not Grief, fucking Moff Gideon, and he's surrounded by all these things that we don't know what they are, but people that have known other Star Wars shit, like this weird obscure video game. This thing called Dark Troopers, which were like droids, I think. Yeah. And were they Force usable? Like they use the Force or something like that?
No, they don't use the Force, but they have various like weapons arrays. Some of them use blades. Some of them have like vibro blade type of weapons, like Mando's knife. It's not quite a lightsaber, but it's pretty powerful as far as weapons go. Some of them had shields, and then of course blasters and shit. But they look a lot like stormtroopers, and they're supposed to be pretty formidable, but I think that like the way that they'll be formidable is mostly against Din. Like I think Ahsoka's gonna look at him and just be like, "Bitch, please."
Yeah.
They go flying.
And I'm sure that's how we're actually going to be introduced to Ahsoka. Is if the trend continues, Din gets saved by everybody along the way that he's looking for, except for the marshal in the first episode. Like he's looking for someone and he finds them by being saved by them. So probably,
yeah,
it'll probably be the same kind of a deal. Which that promises to be really an action-packed thing, right? I mean, if there's all these androids, machines, droids and things, big battles, and then Ahsoka shows up and saves the day. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm wondering if they're going to show up, like, if they're going to give us Ahsoka first and then they're going to show up, or if it's going to be they show up after Din and the baby, and then Ahsoka is like, this is Imperial trouble on my fucking fourth planet. I don't know. So then
yep, she's gonna go all Obi-Wan. Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm super excited for next week. I just obviously you guys know how much I want to see Ahsoka, like just to see Rosario Dawson, and it is going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
So with the suit that Moff Gideon wears, is that like a life support suit kind of a thing? I know
I think it's just some. He's just some badass or some,
like armor, heavy armor,
Beskar or something like that he's wearing.
It's funny that you say that because there's a chance we could see Moff Gideon this season in some Beskar armor.
That'd be crazy.
Damn, dude, that would be.
I'm actually looking at a picture of him now, and if you look at one of the pauldrons, it almost looks like Mando's pauldron from when he first upgrades. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's Beskar that's just painted black.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing you got to remember too is a lot of the shoulder pauldrons. Like if you look at Mando's first costume, those shoulder pauldrons are the same as I think the Stormtrooper pauldrons. Then the second ones that he gets are like a completely different shape. They have like the ridge.
So it's probably just costume reuse more than anything else.
Reuse, and
I like that his costume got little lights on it, but it makes me think, that maybe it is a powered armor like a Mandalorian armor.
Yeah. Maybe he's got tricks and doodads in his chest.
Maybe that shit is Beskar, dude. You never know, because like you said, it could be just painted black because it's the Empire. They don't have silver shit going on.
You got some fucking +2 AC armor.
Nipple lasers.
when you paint it black, usually that increases sneak by a couple points.
Or the D&D. Fucking D&D name drop. So somebody else had mentioned that these could also be some sort of like force-sensitive stormtroopers that differ from some old video game or something like that, but maybe not. But
are you talking about the Force Unleashed Shadow
like
Troopers?
That. But yeah,
I don't think those are those. Yeah.
But so what was really important too is that he was talking about the going back to when Dr. Pershing was talking about the clones. He was talking about a donor and he was talking about a volunteer or the subject or whatever. And obviously the donor was Baby Yoda, but we don't know who this.
He said volunteer. He did say.
Yeah, he doesn't know who this volunteer, and so we're probably thinking that this is whoever volunteered to be Palpatine's like clone or whatever, or experimented on to try to bring him back or something like that. But we don't know who that was. People were speculating that they might be working on something like cloning a Luke with his chopped off hand.
It could even be Palpatine's clone that they're trying to give him more midi-chlorians, but it's failed because in the whole story of the sequel trilogy, that's supposedly how things went about, is that Palpatine's son clone, was like the first clone,
didn't have any force power. Yeah. Even Wayne was like, I'm out of here.
That's pretty much it though, huh?
So yeah, we were all kind of at the consensus that this it didn't really progress the current story, but it seeded a bunch of other shit. Like, so what we were saying before was last episode was so banging, and we thought maybe they would pull back again, which they really didn't. They went forward with this episode, but it on the surface, and Wayne said originally he thought that it was like a filler episode. Then he realized it actually wasn't. I think
it's like hella fucking story.
Yeah, they were planting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man, they planted some seeds, man. It was not filler.
Yeah, and I think like that's really the thing. I think Wayne and I were talking earlier, and I mentioned that to him earlier too, was that like the people that think these episodes of The Mandalorian are filler are the people that didn't watch all the other stuff. So like they don't get it. They legitimately do not get it. So it's like to them it's filler, but to the initiated, we know it's not. Because there's
the uninitiated, Bruce.
Yeah.
Dude, is that what you were going for?
They'll eventually see when they bring this stuff forward, that ties in and stuff, which is cool. Like I said, it's awesome. It's awesome that there are people that aren't normally into Star Wars and stuff are getting into stuff that
are checking it out. Oh hell yeah, that's my girlfriend, dude. It's like the Trojan horse is Baby Yoda, and then the rest of the Star Wars trilogy is inside of it.
Yeah,
it's like my girlfriend is the gate.
Under the robe.
My wife will stay up on Thursday night with me. Usually she's in bed at 9:00, but she'll stay up Thursday night till midnight for when it comes on. Totally excited. Like
that's tight that it's midnight for you, man. It's 1 o'clock here for me.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
That makes me
3 for you guys. Dude. I couldn't do that.
Midnight's pretty easy.
No.
I can deal with that.
I did it for Endgame. I stayed up that late.
I'll go to bed around 10 or a little after 10, and then I'll get up at 2:45 and get up. I'll like splash some water on my face, get myself like all excited about it. And I mean, I'm already immediately excited when I wake up.
Yeah. You set an alarm to wake up, or?
So far I haven't had to. Like my internal
you just clock. Like wake up, because I always get up in the middle of the night too. Get some water and shit. So.
Yeah, and like I just woke up and looked at the time and like 2:45. Boom, right on the dot. Get up, take a leak, wash the face.
Check the session. See us all pre-funking about it, talking about it.
Yeah, I'm working on Friday this week, dude. I needed the overtime though.
Yeah.
Because
I think we can end this here, guys. I think we all thought this was a really amazing episode, and the general consensus is that y'all can't fucking wait for next week.
Oh, absolutely.
3 days by the time this is up, right? 3 days.
It'll be up on Tuesday. So, everybody have a good night, and this is the way.